Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to install RStudio. The first thing we're going to need is open our browser and go to rstudio.com. There we will go to the products page and choose RStudio. Within that we will go to download RStudio desktop and within that the free version. Now there are two things that we need to install RStudio. The first thing is the R language, which is the engine that will run all our calculations. To do that, we go to this website linked in the page and download the necessary software for our distribution. Here I'm showing how to download it, for example, with Windows. You downloading the link, you go to the download folder, you double click on the .exe file, and the rest is probably just clicking on continue until you install it. Same thing goes for if you're using a Mac. Careful with the version of Mac that you're using because some versions of R might be too new for older versions of MacOS. In my case, I'm using a Linux machine, that's why I cannot show neither Windows nor Mac, but the process will be probably straightforward. Now that we have the engine, we just need the graphic interface, which is RStudio. The process is similar. You just download the .exe or the .pkg if you're using a Mac. Click on continue until you install it and you have it on your machine. Now let's open RStudio and see how it looks like once we have installed it. In my case, I have opened the script that we will use later in the lecture. Let's go to View, Panes, Show All Panes to see the normal view of RStudio. The first one, upper left, is the scripting page. There we will have our codes. Just select the line and click on the run icon. You will notice that the very command you just ran appears on the lower side of the screen, called the console. This is the direct interface to the R language, and here you can run individual commands like printing a string or calculating the mean of a vector. Now have a look at the upper right side of the screen. When I type a command in the console where I define a vector, the upper right side shows me that the vector is there. This is called the environment and is useful to keep track of the variables that you have defined and the ones that you haven't, to know what you're working with. This information will be displayed as a list of the variable names and a short description right next to it. Last but not least, you can access some help directly in the graphic interface by clicking on the little home icon in the lower right corner of the screen called the help pane. There you can have access to a series of explanations and introductions to some different topics of the R language. You can also access the specific information page of a certain function or a package by typing ? And then the name of the function that you want to investigate in the console. The same goes if you use the help command and then type the name of the function inside in parentheses. And that will be it for now. In the session, we will go through the basics of the R language so that you can apply some statistical analysis and data visualization on the data that you have gathered. Of course, if anything of this tutorial wasn't clear, we can go through it in the lecture again. Alternatively, you can also pose your questions in the GitHub discussion page, which already has some threads open. I hope to see you on Wednesday.